It's time for Dodger baseball.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. You are now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Please drink responsibly. Thanks for rocking with us after the Dodgers lose the series finale to the Texas Rangers, but they remain in first place. Their record drops to 57-41, but they are still 4 games up on the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Giants in the NL West. Both those teams lost today. So, look, this was still a successful road trip for this Dodgers team. You go up against a desperate Mets team on the road, and then you play 2 first-place teams. You play an Orioles team, a Rangers team. Both teams were hot. The Orioles had won 8 in a row. This Rangers team has one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball, and you take 2 of 3 from each year's series. You would have liked to have the sweep, but still a successful road trip for the Dodgers. But we got my big takeaways. We're going to talk about Emmett Sheehan's start. How many more starts will he have for the Dodgers before he gets sent down? Clayton Kershaw update. We're talking trades because I think it's still very apparent to me Dodgers desperately need to add starting pitching. They need another right-handed bat. They lose again to a lefty starter today. The Dodgers face all lefties. They're now 12-15 against left-handed starters on the year. They're hitting .228 versus lefties. That's 29th in the league compared to righties where they're top 10. But let's jump into the action here. Let's get to your comments. Let me know down below, what are your big takeaways from the Dodgers 8-4 series finale loss to the Rangers? What are your big takeaways? Here, let's jump into the action here. And as always, you guys know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those Dodgers Nation's comment of the night. If I see a Dodgers Nation comment of the game presented by our friends over at Horroritos, you're going to see one of these.
You win. Perfect.
We should have gotten Chapman. That's from Cobra Commander over on YouTube. Yeah, Aroldis Chapman, you guys know I included him in my video where I talked about 7 relievers the Dodgers could consider trading for. Of course, he ends up going to the Rangers. He's a guy, some may say he did his time. Some may say that he doesn't belong on the Dodgers. There's a lot of conflicting opinions on Aroldis Chapman, but the point remains he's one of the most dominant relievers in the game, and he's a guy that could have come really relatively cheap, especially when you consider the options the Dodgers have. The Dodgers have so many elite prospects, so much prospect capital that they could have traded for Aroldis Chapman. We got no Tim Anderson, por favor. That's from DKM. We got Kike has been pretty clutch in the postseason. That's from Michael Carrillo. We got High D-Mac. That's from Craig Osterberg. And a backup catcher, Ohtani, is a Dodger. Yeah, I mean, look, Austin Barnes, he keeps getting unlucky. Of course, you saw him get robbed in Baltimore of a home run today. Almost had a hit down the line in right field, but bottom line, the guy just can't produce. Bottom line is he statistically has been one of, if not the worst hitters in the game. So he has just not performed well in the plate, on the box, at the plate. And yeah, I mean, at some point, you guys know I've spoken my piece on this. You really can't talk too much about a guy who's playing once or twice a week, but still, last 2 outings, Julio Urias gives up 8 runs, worst start of his career. Today, Emmett Sheehan, he gives up 8 runs too for Emmett Sheehan on 8 hits. And really, what is he providing? The throws he made, some not so great throws. So really, what value is Austin Barnes providing at this point? I mean, I think no value would be better than the value that he is providing, which is negative value. That's just the reality when it comes to Austin Barnes, who has a negative WAR on the season. I know that, yeah, everyone wants to beat up on the backup catcher when really he's a guy that's not getting a ton of playing time, but still, I mean, some people might believe you're only as good as your worst player, right? So yeah, I definitely think that I would be absolutely fine with going out there and trading for a veteran backup catcher. I would not be against that at all whatsoever. But here we go. We got still a great road trip. That's from Michael Snow. Yeah, that's what I said at the top of the show. Still have to feel really good about this road trip if you're the Dodgers. You head into the All-Star break hot. You come out of the All-Star break. You win 6 of 9 games. You win all 3 series. You would have liked to have the sweeps, but you're winning series after series against quality opponents. That is what you want to see, and you're doing it without a full starting rotation. Look, let's put things into context here, because what we're not gonna do on this show is jump all over Emmett Sheehan and say he's trash and this and that. But look, he's going up against one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball at Globe Life in an environment where they're trying to salvage a series. So yeah, it was a tough outing for Emmett Sheehan. He allowed 8 runs on 8 hits, had 4 strikeouts, had the 5 walks. You guys know what I always say. If you want to be the man, you have to have the command. He did not have the command. All 5 of those walks scored. So that really tells the whole story right there. Did not have the fastball command. He was pulling arm side, pulling with the glove side. So really just was not finding the zone. And yeah, that fastball is very explosive, really has a mind of its own. And sometimes that works for you. Sometimes that works against you. And I think today he just did not have it as far as fastball command. His ERA is now 6.75 on the year. And look, the rookies, they're doing their best. They're getting valuable experience. But hey, the rookies are not the answer. The rookie starting pitchers are not the answer for the Dodgers. They're getting valuable experience. I definitely think that's definitely a plus. But I think he pretty much takes us to Kershaw getting back. I mean, you got to probably get one more start, but I think he's going to be back in minor league baseball after the trade deadline, after the Dodgers add a starting pitcher, after they get Clayton Kershaw back. So, yeah, it's a great way for the youngsters to get up some valuable experience moving forward, but these aren't guys that you can count on in the postseason, in my opinion, especially with a veteran group. But here we go. Let's jump back in the comment section. Sunday is not fun today. Look, I mean, that's from Craig Osterberg. That's our first Hornitos comment of the game.
You win.
Yeah, and the Dodgers' Sunday struggles continues. They lose again today. It's me, Doug. Osama bin Laden. Wow. A great road trip. Everyone lost. That's from Frank Garcia. Hi, DKM. Cobra Commander, we should have gone Chapman. Could have gotten him cheap. Yeah, we just talked about that. Roy Estrada, I applaud our rookies giving it their best, but we must get 2 quality starters. I feel we need 3 starters, but 2 at minimum. Now everyone's speaking my language. Go back and look at the video. Go look back at the live shows before the season started. I was yelling at the top of the highest mountain I could find, Dodgers need more starting pitching, because every year we see guys go down. Every year we see guys struggle down the stretch. And look, if you want to win this league, you got to get some trusted starters. Yeah, I also see the contrary opinion there saying, okay, well, hey, if the Dodgers get good starters, Dave Roberts won't pitch him after the 5th inning anyway, like we saw from Tyler Anderson in the NLDS last season. But still, look, you need trusted starters at some point. Even though his bullpen has turned it around, they've been impressive of late, you can't allow the starting pitchers to falter. You need some consistency, and if you're not going to get the dominance, you at the very least need to get the innings. Today was the 48th game of the season where the Dodgers starters have pitched 5 innings or less. Let me repeat that. The 48th game of the year where the Dodgers starter did not go at least 5 innings. You cannot have that in this league and expect to have any modicum of freshness, any modicum of length later in the year, because you can't have these starters not going deep into games. You're taxing the bullpen. And yeah, I think the writing's been on the wall for quite some time. You got to go out there and get Lucas Giolito, who in my opinion is absolutely not an A starter. There's no question about that. There's no statistic. There's no peripheral. There's no data. There's no advanced data that it suggests that he's an ace level starter, because that isn't what he is. I think he's a solid number 2. I think he's absolutely a number 3, but he's not your game 1 starter. Who else is out there? Marcus Stroman, he's having a really good year. He's due for some regression. Who are the number 1 starters out there? I think really the only guy I think is a legitimate number 1 starter out there, I think Dylan Cease is a guy that has number 1 starter stuff. Max Scherzer, I think it's interesting. There's another show that is claiming that there was their bright idea about Max Scherzer, but you guys know you heard that idea first on this show. And I'm not gung-ho on the idea of getting Max Scherzer, but I do think that he is an actual ace. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Dodgers do at the deadline. Sonny Gray, I'm seeing right here, Sonny Gray from Marcus Manza Nara Ace over on YouTube. Look, here's the thing, though. Minnesota Twins, they're fine in that division right now. There's no guarantee they're going to be sellers. But no Tim Anderson. We got stopped with the Roberts talk. That's from Frank Garcia. Lackadaisical Dave, more concerned with getting outs from starters than winning. I don't really think it's that. I really don't. I mean, I think they realize that at this juncture, you kind of got to, put guys out there and put them in spots where hopefully you're feeling good about the experience they're getting, and you're also hoping that this Dodgers offense can come around. I do think that there is an understanding within the organization, from the players to the coaches, that they know that reinforcements are on the way, and they know they put themselves in a really nice spot where, hey, you bring in some starting pitching, you bring in some veterans into this group, you add a right-handed bat, and you've already given yourself a 4-game lead in the division. So I think they're fine with that. Now, if you look at this game, you're probably thinking, okay, Dodgers are going to get the sweep. 5 batters into the game, the Dodgers, they're up 4-0. Max Muncy gets a grand slam, his third of the season. So let's jump to that. Top of the first inning, Mookie Betts leadoff double to left. Freddie Freeman single to center to give the Dodgers runners on first and third with no outs. And then first pitch to Will Smith. He flied to right. Will Smith, he was DHing in place of JD Martinez, who had a little barking hamstring. It was a late scratch, so he did not play today. So Will Smith flies to right for the first out. And then Chris Taylor, he draws a 4-pitch walk to load the bases. And the next batter, Max Muncy, 2-1 pitch. Boom! Grand slam to left to give the Dodgers a early 4-0 lead. Muncy's 22nd homer of the year, third of the season. That put the Dodgers up 4-0 early. So LA gets 4 in the first. Let me ask you guys that question. Do you think we were getting the sweep? Did you feel good about that after that first inning? Here we go. Ghost Cat 69. What's up, D-Mac? By the way, give me your Michelada half-full take of the game. So we haven't experienced too much losing of late. By the way, I will remind you that the Dodgers, since that home sweep against the Giants, their worst series of the year, LA's gone 18-8. That's the best record in Major League Baseball in that stretch. So I want to know from you, though, what is your Michelada half-full take of the game? So give me a positive take, too, guys. We got B920, pick up Snell. Yeah, pick up Snell would be interesting. I mean, that'd be a pretty stacked rotation with left-handed pitchers with Julio, Kersh, and Snell. I have my doubts that the Padres would want to deal with the Dodgers, but on the same token, maybe they think that their version of 4D chess is taking some Dodgers prospects, because we know the Padres have no clue how to build their own farm system and develop their own prospects, so maybe that is a possibility. But I will say on their best day, Blake Snell's right up there at the top. I still think there's some inconsistency as far as going deep into games. He has those issues. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting name. I think contractually, if he was on another team, if he was in another league on a more natural trade partner, that's a name the Dodgers would seriously consider. But it is the Padres. The Padres, of course, they were built to beat the Dodgers, and for them to trade away pieces to the Dodgers, that'd be very humbling for the Sadres down there. I just don't anticipate that, but it's a very interesting name, to say the least. B920 over on YouTube. Nando, D-Mag, does Kike make a return to Dodger Blue? Yeah, let's talk about Kike in a second here, and we're going to talk about Kershaw in a second here. I want all your takes on Kiké Hernandez, but we're going to recap this game a little bit, and then we will touch on the rumor from Fabian Ardaya of The Athletic that the Dodgers could be considering trading for old friend Kiké Hernandez. So we'll definitely touch on that one in a little bit. Nando, Emar, we need new starting pitching ASAP. We got Matty Man Dodge, another schedule loss today. Still a very good road trip. Yeah, absolutely. What would you guys grade this road trip? I think, yes, they did win all 3 series. You didn't sweep any of them. You did have some ugly starts. Of course, Julio Urias having the worst start of his career. That definitely hurt. A guy that is costing himself this season. Maybe he takes the qualifying offer. Maybe signs a shorter-term deal to get his stock back on track and go back to market and really increase his stock like Cody Bellinger did. But, yeah, he ends up having a rough outing. But still, all in all, you look at the totality of the trip, you have to call it a success. I still give it a B+. A B+ trip for me. Tough teams, first-place teams on the road. But I will say, you're not going to get an A unless you're going to get at least one sweep in there. And also, some of those games were so winnable. The third game against the Mets, the Dodgers, they were in that. They lose in extra innings. Mookie ties it late. The Orioles, they weren't in that one because of the Julio Urias clunker, but today they were up 4-0 to start the game, 5 batters into the game. So I give it a B+. What grade do you guys give the Dodgers road trip? DKM, D-Mac to Dodger Stadium tomorrow. I'll be there. All right. Yeah, Dodger Stadium tomorrow. The Toronto Blue Jays are in town. Davey Fairplay Roberts had to throw the Rangers a bone. That's from Mike M. Do you guys have an issue with Emmett Sheehan being out there? It sounds like you do. Look, I think at this point they're just trying to keep as much tread on the tires for this bullpen as possible. They don't want those tires to go bald. They know they're going to trade for starting pitching. They know they're probably going to trade for a reliever. I think they're going to add a guy, whether it be a Barlow, whether it be a Graveman, a Middleton. They're going to go out there and trade for a reliever, like I said, a starting pitcher, like I said, and a bat, like I said. And I think once they do that, you'll see them manage their starting pitching a little differently. And Emmett Sheehan, I think the clock is ticking as to when he's going to go back down to the minor league level. A valiant effort. I think he has an explosive fastball, like I said, to be be the man, you have to have the command. Had 5 walks today. All 5 of those batters came around to score. So let's jump into that. So we talked about the first inning. Dodgers get 4 runs on the Max Muncy grand slam. By the way, 10 grand slams for the Dodgers this season. The Los Grand Slamulous Dodgers. Okay, that's who they are this year. His 3rd grand slam of the season. And then bottom of the first inning, Emmett Sheehan issues a 1-out walk to Jankowski. Jankowski steals second, like I was talking about with Austin Barnes. Tried to do a little swipe tag there. Not a great throw. Then he walks low. And then Jung lined to right for the second out, and it would runners on first and second. Heim doubles to right, scoring Jankowski and Lowe to make it 4-2. So they get 2 runs quickly there in the bottom of the first inning, and then Duran pops to second. So the Rangers, they get 2 back on 1 hit and those 2 costly walks. So that is the theme of Emmett Sheehan's start, was the lack of command, glove side command. He was pulling. I mean, that fastball, like I said, it's electric, it's explosive, but also has a mind of its own, and sometimes against potent lineups, against lineups that know what's coming, they know the scouting report, they're going to lay off that, and they're going to draw their walks, and they're going to wait for pitches to hit. And it kind of makes them a little one-dimensional. But some growing pains for Emmett Sheehan today, no doubt. I appreciate the effort. I think you got to put it in context. Rookie pitcher that was thrusted into a situation early against one of the best lineups, one of the best offenses in the league on the road in a desperate game where they're trying to salvage a series. Not an easy situation. Then you jump to the bottom of the second, a leadoff walk to Miller. Strikes out Tavares with a 4-seam fastball up in the zone for the first out, and then 3-2 pitch. He walks Smith, missed with that fastball, giving the Rangers runners on first and second with 1 out. And then the following batter, 0-1 pitch to Simeon. He singles to center to score Miller to make it 4-3. The Rangers cut the lead to 1, and then he gets Jankowski to fly to center for the second out. And the next batter, Lowe, he singles to center. Smith comes around to score to tie it at 4 apiece. And the next batter, Jung, single to center to score Simeon to give the Rangers a 5-4 lead. So Emmett strikes out Heim to end the inning, but still lots of damage done there in the second. Rangers get 3 runs on 3 hits and the 2 walks. Both of those walks score, and the Rangers, they erase that 4-run deficit already in the second inning. They take a 5-4 lead into the top of the third. We'll talk about that. Let's do some more comments before we do. By the way, if you're new to the show, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and also smash that like button. I know the Dodgers lost, but this is your show. I'm just hosting it. You guys who want to like your show, definitely helps. We got to Stroman. That's from Robert Prado. So, yeah, the interesting thing with Marcus Stroman, and, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit because, look, you guys pick what we can talk about, so how about that? But, yeah, with Marcus Stroman, if you look at, he's a great, probably one of the best ground ball pitchers in the league. A 58.4% ground ball rate. That's his highest since 2018. If you look at his strikeout numbers, 21.3%, 8.8% walk rate. Those are around league average. But he is having one of the best years of his career. And it's very interesting, too. I mean, he has 1 more year left on his contract. So 1 more year left on his contract, set to make $21 million next year. But he has the ability to opt out and return to free agency after the season. So with the way he's pitching this year, the year he's having, I think he'll absolutely do that. But like Lucas Giolito, can he help this team? Yes. But is he an ace? I don't think he is. I think he's putting up an ace-level ERA, but some of his predictive stats, if you look at his BABIP, if you look at his expecting batting average numbers, he's great at missing barrels. But when it comes to hard contact and things like that, I think he is due for some regression. I mean, he's 5'7". He's a warrior out there. There is some talk about his locker room presence, I think, to put it kindly. Will he disrupt team chemistry if he doesn't gel with this team? I think he will. I think there's a chance that he could click with this group, but this group has great team chemistry. Is Lucas Giolito a better fit? Is Marcus Stroman a better fit? I think it all comes down to prospect cost, 1, and 2, who can you package with a reliever? I think what makes the White Sox a better deal with Lucas Giolito is that, look, Lucas Giolito on his best day, yeah, earlier I said he's not a number 1, but he's also pitched a no-hitter. There are days where he looks like a number 1. So there's that, and I also like the relievers that the White Sox can include in the deal, in the Gravemans, the Middletons, even Joe Kelly, even Liam Hendricks if he's healthy. So that's why I prefer the deal with the White Sox versus a potential deal with the Chicago Cubs. By the way, Andrew Friedman, why didn't you trade for Luis Castillo last season like I was begging for, like I beg you for years now? That would have been the move. Luis Castillo is better than any starting pitcher that's currently available at this deadline. Dodgers could have had him. They could have traded prospects. They had the prospect capital to get it done. They were late in the talks. They were late in the running. Friedman did not want to compete. He, like I always say, he likes to buy the Halloween candy the day after Halloween when it's on sale. You can't do that. With more teams in the postseason, you have to pay the premium. You have to overpay if you want something. Carnivorous Lunar Activity says Dylan Cease. The interesting thing about Dylan Cease is by the way, Jim Griffey Jr., I love that name. I'm going to give you a fire take for that.
Fire take.
He says, what up, D-Mac? What up, Jim Griffey Jr.? Cease, Giolito, Stroman, and throwing Arenado for Mike M. Cease, forget Giolito. I like it. We've got the Cease movement. Hey, man, I like it. I like it, man. I love Pryor, but this year he has me wondering how good he really is. Brandon Garibay, we got Palumi, Omo. Look, I'll touch on that. I mean, look, Pryor is great at what he does. It's not just Pryor, though. It's the entire pitching and developing and coaching and everyone involved, analytics department, simplifying things. I talked to a lot of these pitchers, especially the younger ones, and they tell me that from a data standpoint, you can use as much of it as you want. You can use as little of it as you want, but they're going to put you in a position to have success. I think today, if you look at Emmett Sheehan, the release point was not on point for Emmett Sheehan. I think that's where he struggled, and I think externally, he wasn't showing the frustration or anything like that, but I think internally, he was thinking about it. So I think from a mechanic standpoint, you got to get things to flow. And look, they're not miracle workers, but they're really good at optimizing what guys have. So the reality is, yeah, Mark Pryor's great, but Andrew Friedman, getting him the pitchers to work with, I think is more of the focus from my end. I think, look, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, when it comes to Noah Syndergaard, you know. So last year you had Tyler Anderson, who found a new grip on the changeup, got the vertical break, really had a great year because of it. So you're not going to hit on everyone, but the reality is their track record speaks for itself. Look at Ryan Brazier. They gave him that cutter. He's been a different pitcher when that pitch. Same thing with Michael Grove. His cutter against left-handed hitters. That's going to definitely take his game to a new level. So we absolutely have seen some adjustments with pitchers this season. And I think Mark Pryor still is one of the best in the business. And I've talked to people around the league, and they tell me that is what his reputation is. That he has a reputation of being one of the best pitching minds in the sport. So D-Mac, Friedman just watch this and does nothing from Bruce Davis. He's cooking. Let Friedman cook. What I always say about Andrew Friedman only speaks when it's time to yell checkmate. So the fact that you're hearing Lucas Giolito and this and that makes me think he's got something else up his sleeve. That makes me think maybe he does say, here, let's push these chips in the middle of the table. Give me a Dylan Cease. And the prospect capital, you're going to have to give a lot of prospect capital to get Dylan Cease. No question about that. And look, the Houston Astros, they're rumored to be aggressively pursuing him, or at least they want him very badly. And there are no guarantees the White Sox are interested in trading Cease because, yes, they are due for a down to the studs rebuild when you look at how it's gone for them. But the big difference with Dylan Cease is he's got years left, man. He's got 2 arbitration years left. So 2 arbitration years left on an ace-level pitcher. You are going to have to come with your best prospects, at least a handful of them, if you want to pull off a deal for him, especially with how competitive this market is going to be, because it is a seller's market. It is not a buyer's market. D-Mac, I can't believe I'm agreeing with you about Scherz. What up, Emar? Hey, like I said, makes some sense. AMC to the moon. Maybe if the Padres sell, get Snell somehow from darkness over on YouTube. Don't forget to boo George Springer during the Blue Jays series. That's from Michael Bilgen. That's a public service announcement from our friend Michael Bilgen over on YouTube. He says, don't forget to boo George Springer during the Blue Jays series. That's going to be a finish him.
Finish him.
Finish him.
Dodger dog of the game.
By the way, who's your Dodger dog of the game? Surprise, surprise, the Dodgers lose when Barnes is in the lineup just as expected. That's from Jeremy H. Yeah, I gave you the number earlier. Continues to be a problem with Austin Barnes, and it's getting to the point where, yeah, I definitely think that if he shows no improvement, you definitely have to consider your options. And I think, like I said a few weeks ago, hey, they moved off of A.J. Ellis when he was performing a lot better than they do with Austin Barnes at the moment. The Dodgers are 16-5 now when Austin Barnes starts this season. 16-5, just one game over 500. That stat, by the way, is from my man Noah Camrus over on Twitter. So go follow my man Noah Camrus. He brings his facts to the fight. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, like I said, Austin Barnes almost feels like he's kind of aging himself out of the league. Almost feels like you're looking at catchers that range is kind of par for the course. But I will say, Austin Barnes, him providing no value is better than what he's providing right now, which is negative value. Like I said, just a harsh reality at this point. But here we go, back to the comments section. I love the wacky inflatable balloon man. You like that? All right, guys, I got to work on mine. It's kind of like the inflatable balloon man, though. Is more like, it's more like it's more like wavy like that, There's kind of more like that. Okay, guys. What's your favorite Dodgers celebration of all time? Could you go with that? The mic, get the choo-choo train, go the whoosh. I mean, there's so many good ones. Barrels overrated. I mean, it just goes on and on. But let's keep jumping into this game, and we'll talk some more trade stuff. Let's run some more comments off, though. DeLuca was great in this series. He definitely played his heart out and built some confidence for sure. Insane speed and insane defensive plays. That's from IV over on YouTube. Yeah, I love what I'm seeing from Johnny DeLuca. I think this is a ball player. This is a guy that gives you 100% effort every single play, whether it's at the plate, whether it's in the field. And Johnny DeLuca, he ended up getting that infield single. He goes 2 for 4 today, actually had 2 hits. So he had versatility, playing right field, playing center field. You saw him made that diving attempt early in the game that really would have changed things up. And that really went a long way as far as Emmett Sheehan start, because that double, that really changed the game, and you saw his hand there just kind of rip through his skin. I mean, he wasn't even flinching, too, so was really impressed with that. I mean, that Heim double to right, the one that scored Jankowski and low to make it 4-2 in the bottom of the first. All-out effort from Johnny DeLuca. The guy was a spitting image of our guy, Mr. Ron Say. But, yeah, he's pretty much the Dodger dog of the game. I'm going to give him my Dodger dog of the game.
Dodger dog of the game.
Does the effort, cause the hustle, legs out that infield single. And then we're going to jump to the top of the third. The Dodgers had an opportunity there. LA gets a leadoff walk from Freddie Freeman, who has been sensational. OPS over 1,400 last 18 games. I mean, he's been fantastic. He's been tearing the cover off the ball. Just one of the best players in the game. By the way, weighted runs created plus. Great statistic, measures overall offensive production. His weighted runs created plus 159 heading into yesterday. This tie with Shohei Ohtani over the last 2 seasons. That's how good Freddie Freeman has been with the Dodgers. He has performed like a top 5 player, like an MVP since he signed with the Dodgers. I hear these Braves fans, Olsen's better. Olsen, RBIs. No. Freddie Freeman's on another level than Matt Olson. Don't kid yourself, all right? But that top of the third, Freddie gets a leadoff walk. Smith, Will Smith, he comes up. He hits a ground rule double. That gives the Dodgers runners on the corners with no outs. And then Chris Taylor, he flies to left for the first out. Max Muncy, he strikes out swinging for the second out. And then James Outman at the plate, really one of the better at-bats of his big league career. 11th pitch of the at-bat. And that actually was the longest at-bat of his career. He grounded to second. So the Dodgers get the first 2 men on. They had runners on the corners with no outs and weren't able to capitalize. They weren't able to even tie it at 5. And that, to me, was the big missed opportunity. Because if you strike back, you take a punch, and you deliver a blow right back, you at the very least tie it. You got to tie it in that situation. Tie things at 5. But Perez, he settled down, and he was cruising after that Max Muncy grand slam. Martin Perez ended up going 6 innings, allowed just those 4 runs on the Max Muncy grand slam, had 6 strikeouts and 2 walks, and the Dodgers had a big opportunity there. Didn't really get very much going after that. But let's jump back in the comment section. We'll continue to break down this game and talk the MLB trade deadline. A successful road trip for your Los Angeles Dodgers. They still take 2 out of 3 in each series. They win 6 of 9 games. 8- for Yanni Hayward's season. That's what he gives the Dodgers on this road trip. Yanni Bay, don't be too hard. Solid A. Felipe Jones, they won every series on the road. It's an A. That's from Felipe Jones. Frank Garcia, the Dodgers are going to lose at least 13 more games guaranteed. So enjoy the games they do win. Bruce Davis gives it a C. Wow, you are a tough grader right there, my man. Robert Prado, a B+. Troy Heyman, time to bring Hunter Fiducia up. When Barnes catches, we have a 367 win percentage. That's from Troy Heyman. Not true, but still, your point remains about Hunter Fiducia. Kind of wish they had done it earlier. I think that there was an opportunity earlier in the season to get Fiducia up. They, of course, thought Barnes would probably turn around. At this point, it's a little late in the game, but what more does Fiducia have to prove when you consider his offensive production down there? I absolutely agree. I would like to see him get a shot just because I love the fact we've seen 12 rookies this season. B+ from Gary Webb. Prayers for JD Martinez. We can't lose him. Troy Heyman. Yeah, hopefully he's okay. We'll see if we get an update from Dave Roberts. DCam, hey, DMAC, why don't we see you doing meters? Oh, here we go. Okay. DKM, hey, DMAC, why don't we see you doing meters with 4 Dodger dogs and a Michelada, the Eric Gagne game over lock? What happened to that? Well, I'm still doing the Dodgers rumor meter. That's on episodes of Dodgers Dugout. So Dodgers Dugout, we'll drop one tomorrow. That's where I break down all the rumors. And anytime I bring a 4 Dodger dog with the Michelada, Eric Gagne lock, that's when I'm confident that a trade is going to be made. So we haven't gotten quite there. Lots of 3 Dodger dogs with serious smoke. So look out. I'm doing an episode tomorrow about starting pitching, about right-handed bats. So definitely look out for that on the YouTube channel early in the morning. Bye-bye, Emmett Sheehan, Ivy Strogan. Shout out to the Blue Jays today. Podcast going to be fun trolling their channel. Yeah, those guys are cool. Otani for live B920. Put it on the T for Barnesy. Ribs. We need to try to get Dylan Cease and Tim Anderson before the deadline and go after Otani this offseason. I like that plan. Trey Heyman, bold prediction. I do feel a blockbuster trade coming. I think Andrew is working on a 3-way trade with a huge return for us. Yeah, I like it, man. Give me Jamer Candelario. Give me Cease. Give me Graveman. I'd be happy with that. Mike C. With the upcoming day off on Thursday, send Sheehan back to AAA and skip his spot. Will not need a 5th starter until August 1st. Hopefully Kershaw is back or trade for a starting pitcher is made. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about earlier in the show, you are going to have an option to do that. You can also... You can really hope for Clayton Kershaw. I'll give you the update on Clayton Kershaw right now. So Clayton Kershaw... Let me get some water here. So it's some interesting news about Clayton Kershaw. I think it's good news, really. I mean, he threw on flat ground from the outfield before today's game in Texas. And look, he is going to be pushed back a little bit. And Dave Roberts said, I just don't know when that bullpen is going to happen. I'm going to sit tight and wait for the green light from the training staff. No pain, no setback. So he isn't having any pain. So that's definitely a good thing. And he is going to be throwing a more aggressive bullpen soon. He's going to face hitters soon. He's going to throw a bullpen tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. And they decided they wanted to push it back. But it's not because of the injury. It's not because he's experiencing more pain or anything like that. They're just waiting it out. So I think Kershaw is going to be fine. I think that's encouraging news. And I think that Emmett Sheehan's, his days are numbered as far as him being in this Dodgers starting rotation. But here we go. We got Sergio Quintero. Sheehan had to eat innings and take it on the chin. That was the best thing Dave Roberts could do. You can't go to the pen that early. Sergio, I agree with you 100%. I think that's definitely a fire tag. Because, yeah, you can't tax this pen more than they already have. You're talking about a Dodgers starting rotation, 23rd in the league in innings pitched, 23rd in the league in innings pitched. Like I said, today was the 48th game of the year. 48th game of the year where a Dodgers starter has failed to go at least 5 innings. That isn't going to get it done. You want to give these guys valuable experience, allow them to experience these growing pains, and he's going to carry that with him into the offseason, into next year. And look, you're facing really good hitters, and I think Emmett Sheehan, he knows what he needs to do. He needs to tame that fastball. It's an explosive fastball, but you want to be the man, you got to have the command. Kershaw hits better than Barnes. That's from Ghost Cat 69.
Finish him.
DMAC, why didn't you make the trip to Arlington to relive the World Series memories at Dodger Stadium Southeast? Jim Griffey Jr. I would have loved to. I really do. I mean, I had some other engagements, other shows I had to do, but yeah, I mean, that is Dodger Stadium Southeast right there, and what a great memory. All the great memories from Cody Bellinger robbing Fernando Tatis Jr., from the comeback there in the NLCS to the Will Smith off of Will Smith, the Kiké home run, the Cody Bellinger go-ahead home run, the game-winning home run there in Game 7 to winning the first World Series since 1988. Yeah, there's so many great memories in that park, and it's the park that Corey Seager built, and hopefully Corey Seager isn't. You always go live after losses. I actually go live. We actually have way more wins than losses today. Ben Kawucha. I try to do 4 shows, and we go live every single Sunday, no matter what if they win or lose. Ramon Hernandez. I still believe Julio hasn't adjusted to the new rules. I honestly believe the season will be a little rough. But I promise next year he'll look 1,000 times better. That is from Ramon Hernandez on YouTube. We got, hey, D-Mac, why do you always go live after a loss? I don't schedule this. I go live every single Sunday most Fridays, most Tuesdays, and then sometimes emergency shows in between. It's not predicated on wins or losses. They're pre-scheduled. We got, what up, fellas? We got Dylan Cease. We got, I think a closer will help big time. This was we can leverage Fireman Phillips in situations. We got Cease is overrated, had only one good year. Dodger fans only won it because there's no aces available at the deadline. That's from Sean over on YouTube. That is some truth to that. I will say, Sean, I think that upside wise, I mean stuff wise, I still think he has top shelf stuff. But yeah, if you look at his ERA plus, it's just over 100 this season. But I look at that in two ways. I think that one, his value is lower. So the fact that his value is lower means that you can possibly get him for a lot cheaper. Let's say he was pitching like he had last year, even a few years ago when he was at his best. I think that it'd be very difficult to even have a conversation about him because look, I mean, this season, Dylan Cease, if you look at his numbers, yeah, they're not outstanding. They're not eye-popping at all. The whip is at 13.11, the FIP at 3.63, the ERA plus is at, where's he at? And then, yeah, I mean, he's 21 starts this season, 113 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 108 ERA plus. Last year, a 180 ERA plus. So he's only had one elite year. That was last season where he had a 220 ERA. This year, that number jumped to 404. But you would hope that he would have more success with this Dodgers organization. But I do think, for me, it's the upside possibility with Cease. How does he look on his best day compared to Lucas Giolito? Where Giolito, a lot of numbers, he has outperformed him this season. And I would absolutely be happy with Lucas Giolito. I've been talking about it on the show for literally since last November, if you guys have been watching. So I would absolutely be fine with that. We talked about Lucas Giolito as an option last summer when they were looking at starting pitching when my guy was Mr. Luis Castillo. But Giolito this year, his ERA plus at 110. So his ERA at 396. So the key with Giolito is the opportunity cost, the fact that he is on an expiring contract, and the hope that you don't have to part ways with some of your super elite prospects. I think you might have to include a Michael Busch possibly because of how competitive the market's going to be. But yeah, I think you do have some great points in this fact that, yeah, if Corbin Burns was available, right, if some other names were available, I think those would be the guys that Dodger fans would focus on. But he is a guy that has that ace feel to him, so Dodger fans want to gravitate towards him. At least some do, not all. But here we go. We got just put in Barnes wherever we want to lose. Robert Vasquez says, just put in Barnes whenever we want to lose. DeLuca has heart. Absolutely. He's got that dog in him.
Barnes, your dog of the game.
Trade Barnes to who? For what? A bag of chips and a better parking space? Barnes has no trade value. We got D-Mac is the new mascot. You're going to make the crowd bonkers. Come on, show me what you got, but don't moonwalk. That's hilarious, but I'm going to give you a bruh for that one. Bruh. Okay, so let's jump back into this game here. And we'll continue to break it down. We're going to still talk Kiké Hernandez, so you don't want to miss that. I have some thoughts on Kiké Hernandez. Should the Dodgers go after old friend Kiké Hernandez? We'll talk about that in a second here, but let's continue breaking down this game. We got everything we need to know. One thing you need to still know from this game that we've already covered is Kershaw. We talked about that. Pushed it back, his bullpen, pushed back him facing live hitters, but the pain has subsided too. The youth movement as far as starting pitching, Bobby Miller, he had a gutsy effort yesterday, but the rookie starters are not the answer. That is number two. You're not going to win the World Series with these rookie starters having an increased role on this team. Maybe Bobby Miller, I think that's the one I could see. Michael Grove, he's definitely turned some corners this season. I think having that cutter against left-handed batters, I think that's definitely going to help him a lot of different ways, but you got to go out there and get a starter. But let's talk about that bottom of the fourth inning, or bottom of the third. We talked about that. Duran leadoff single, Miller single to right. So back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the third. And then Tavares doubled to center to score Miller and Duran to make it 7-4 Rangers. And then Smith lines at first for the first out. And then Simeon fouled to first for the second out. And then Jankowski flied to left for the third out. So bottom of the third inning, I mean, you give those back-to-back singles, give the double to Tavares. That made it 7-4 Rangers. They get 2 runs on 3 hits and really not getting that first man up to end the inning, to start innings, whether it be giving up a single or walking guys. All those moments that really came back to hurt Emmett Sheehan, whether it be the leadoff singles or the leadoff walks. Then you jump to that bottom of the fourth inning. Sheehan really gets a good start to that inning. Nice start to that frame for Emmett Sheehan. Gives up back-to-back, has back-to-back strikeouts to start the bottom of the fourth. low forcing fastball up in the zone for the first out. Then he gets Jung swinging with the slider up and away for the second out. And in Heim, he walked an 0-2 to Durant. He doubles to left to score Heim to make it 8-4 Rangers. So, yeah, I mean, he strikes out Miller to swing to end the inning, so he strikes out the side, but those walks just continue to haunt him. And then, yeah, top of the fifth, you get a leadoff single by Freddie Freeman, but not much else going for this Dodgers offense other than that first inning where Max Muncy was able to hit that grand slam, 10th of the year for the Dodgers. Other than that, they definitely struggled. If you look at the box score, step into the box a little bit as a whole, really not too much. Dodgers, they get 8 hits, had the 1 error, score 4 in the first, and were able to put up a run after that. Mookie goes 1 for 4. Freddie goes 2 for 3 with the walk. Will Smith goes 1 for 4 with a double. Chris Taylor goes 1 for 3. Muncy goes 1 for 4. Outman 0 for 3. Yanni, for some reason, why is Yanni pinch hitting for anyone, by the way? Can someone explain it to me? Why is Yanni pinch hitting for people? I mean, I don't understand that. But anyways, Johnny DeLuca goes 2 for 4, and then Barnes goes 0 for 4. Dodgers end up going 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They end up losing 8-4, they fall to 57-41, but a successful road trip. Ohtani Samurai helmet, we got, that's your favorite celebration. Okay, I get you. Ohtani Samurai helmet when Ohtani signed with the Dodgers. Let's go down here. Hernandez was clutch for sure. That's from Joe Mama. I'm tired of hearing Dodgers are saving for Ohtani. The Dodgers need to save for the 2023 season and get starters before their first-round exits. Amen, brother. I agree with you 100%. Gabriel Galev. What up, Gabriel? I think Bobby Miller's stuff plays up in the playoffs, and he's going to have a few dominant starts that will win us crucial games. Well, I'd love to see that. I think the swing and miss, the strikeout rate is below league average so far in his big league career. But, yeah, he's commanding 5 pitches, and I think he's a guy, too, from an adrenaline standpoint. He definitely, when the lights are bright, he steps up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a role in some capacity. I think if they do add a starter, you look at that rotation, you're going to have Kershaw, you're going to have Julio, you're going to have whoever they bring in from a trade perspective. You still have Tony Gonsolin. And then, of course, what if Walker F. and Buehler comes back and he's healthy? And that is the plan. I can tell you from talking to people, that is absolutely what he's planning on doing. So we'll see what role they have for Bobby Miller. We got hello all. Sorry, I'm late. What's up, Diane Schroeder? You can just watch the beginning of the show after, but never late to the party. But thanks for rocking with us. The fairy godmother, the queen of Dodgers Nation post-game shows, Diane Schroeder. We got Stroman is a great move to make if it's not the only pitching move you make. Yeah, I agree with you. I think, yeah, but I mean, what? That's a lot of prospect capital for you to get Stroman and Cease, because Stroman, the Cubs are trying to get a haul for him. They're trying to take advantage of the year he's having where he's put up top 15 numbers in Major League Baseball. He's really been really strong. We got Gonsolin. Dodgers 28. Gonsolin should not start a playoff game. Hey, I could not agree with you more. If you've watched this show, you guys know how I feel about Tony Gonsolin in the postseason. Of course, he has been mishandled to an extent as far as the opportunities he's gotten. And last year, he wasn't healthy when he pitched against the Padres, and he was pretty much an absolute disaster. But, yeah, look, his numbers in the postseason, they are bad. A 9.20 postseason ERA for Tony Gonsolin. I would not trust him at all in the postseason as well. And, yeah, I will say, though, with Tony Gonsolin, I did like the fact that the fastball velo was up. That definitely was encouraging. Saw some 95s in there. But last season, if it's the postseason, I don't see how anything could give you confidence. Even when he pitched there in Game 3, he goes an inning in the third against the Padres. He wasn't even able to get into the second inning, and it was a miracle to only get 1 run. But he threw 42 pitches, just did not have it. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. I did not want to see Tony Gonsolin on the mound in the postseason unless you absolutely have to, or unless he proves it late in the year and he's looking really good and you give him an opportunity, especially if you're up in this series. So I wouldn't rule it out completely, but trust level-wise, I'd probably give it about a 4. D-Mac, it sucks, no sweep, but the second inning was killer. We had runners on second and third, no outs. We couldn't get a run. If you can't score runners with second and third and no outs, you don't deserve to win. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You had a golden opportunity to tie the game at 5, to put some runs up in a game where you got a rookie pitcher on the mound and Emmett Sheehan in, try to give him some support, give him some confidence, and I definitely agree. But we're going to wrap the show talking a little bit about Kike Hernandez. So Kike Hernandez, of course, he's a Dodgers fan favorite. He's one of the funniest players ever. The banana suit Kike. Of course, you remember when you had the power outage and you had the drones. He's like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I mean, so many great Kike Hernandez moments, that's for sure. But Fabian Ardai, he had an article that the Dodgers were linked to him as a guy that maybe could be a right-handed bat. Now, for me, if you look at his numbers, I mean, we have to see what do they see in Kike Hernandez. This year, for MLB hitters with a minimum of 300 plate appearances, his .219 batting average is 136 out of 151. His weighted runs created plus is 60. That's 40% below league average. That's 150 out of 151. His F4 is negative 1.4. That is dead last. That is last in the league. That's where Kike Hernandez is. So, yeah, love the guy. But, I bring my facts to the fight. Numbers will tell you that he has been one of the worst hitters. Everyone wants to rag on Austin Barnes. Kike Hernandez, with more opportunities, he really has not produced. And you look at, are there some numbers that are pointing to some positive regression to the mean? Are things going to turn around? Well, you look at his expected batting average, he's in the 1 percentile. If you look at his barrel percentage, 13th percentile. Expected slug, 1 percentile. Outs above average defensively, he's in the 1 percentile. So, look, I think the counterpoint to that would be, look at Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward was having a terrible year last year. He was atrocious. Of course, the Cubs move on from him, and people say, okay, is his career over? And he resurrects himself with the Dodgers. So maybe a change of scenery, coming back to this Dodgers organization where he had so many legendary postseason moments. Of course, a 3-home run game against the Cubs and the game against the Braves, the clutch hit. So Kike Hernandez is a guy that has the nose for the big moment in the postseason. So I wouldn't be absolutely furious if they made the move. I think from a team chemistry standpoint, he's a guy that would fit right in with this group as far as vibes go. I think fans would be thrilled to have him back in Dodger blue. From a production standpoint, though, I think it'd be tough to have high expectations on what he could do. I think they need to go bigger. They need to get a more trusted bat, a guy that you can feel pretty confident he can succeed. I mean, what do they need help against? Is against left-handed pitching. And against lefties, his numbers have been better. Kike is hitting 204 against righties, 260 against lefties with a 652 OPS in 77 at-bats. So maybe you feel good. Maybe that's kind of where you kind of go with it, saying, okay, lefties, change of scenery, back with the Dodgers organization. You look what he did in 2021 when he was one of the best players in the postseason. He absolutely caught fire with the Boston Red Sox. Maybe you consider that. And for his career, if you look at the back of this baseball card, you feel pretty encouraged by an 811 career OPS. So an 811 career OPS in 259 against lefties. And we know that he's a streaky hitter that can find that pop. We got Nando 390 says, fire my wife. Okay.
Fire team.
Can't remember the starting pitcher allowed 8 runs and left in. I swear Dave Roberts is an effing moron. That's from Enrique Romero. Tim Anderson needs a new change of scenery. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Tim Anderson. If you're going to go change of scenery guy, Tim Anderson is interesting because he gives that bat-to-ball dimension that I think this offense needs in the postseason when you can't expect to slug every single night against better starting pitching. I think that's unrealistic to think you're going to hit doubles and home runs and win that way. And look, the reality is we got a lot of track record is, look, they've been better against lefties. If you look at OPS and drawing walks, they have been better, but batting average wise, 228 against lefties. And this year they're 12-15 against left-handed starters. Say they face all lefties. Montu was able to get the grand slam, but other than that, not very much offense. So I think you need a more trusted hitter against left-handed pitching. And I think the Duvall's out there. I mean, I talked about Tommy Pham a few weeks ago. Candelario's another guy. McCutchen I've been high on. I mean, who knows, man? There's going to be some names that will emerge, but Kike Hernandez, I just don't think is the big answer. I mean, he's not a needle mover for me. Love it what he does to chemistry. Love the warm and fuzzy feelings of having Kike Hernandez back. I mean, Of course, big fan of his with the Dodgers, but from a production standpoint this year, he's been pretty bad. But it kind of makes me think, though, if you're going to go with the Red Sox, who else could you get? Could you get a Duvall and a Kike? Could you get a Kike and a Kenley? Just get the band back together. So there's some options, there's some opportunities, but 9 days to the MLB trade deadline. We'll talk more trade deadline tomorrow on Blue Heaven. I'm dropping videos nonstop until the deadline, so look out for those. We're going to do one on starting pitching tomorrow and some other options that you want to know about. Michael Grove, he starts tomorrow. His last 2 starts, 11 innings. He's allowed 5 earned runs, 11 hits, 10 punch-outs, and 3 walks. I'm excited for Michael Grove. I want to see how that cutter looks tomorrow, especially against lefties. But thanks for rocking with us, guys, on this Sunday afternoon. Dodgers lose, but a successful road trip. You take 6 of 9 against 2 first-place teams and a desperate Mets team on the road. You have to feel good about that, especially with the injuries, lack of starting pitching. I'm feeling good about this Dodgers team right now. Most importantly, a nice lead, a 4-game lead there in the National League West. Because, hey, Giants lose, D-backs lose. Dodgers are starting to take command in this division. But thanks, Carnivorous Lunar Activity. I appreciate you. Yanni Hayward, he's been super good since the All-Star break. Yeah, absolutely. Change your post-game show schedule. Guys, I'm going to try to do like 5 shows a week, so got to bear with me because we got more. We got the Jim Beam sponsorship, which has been great. So look for more shows in the second half, guys, for sure. Cody Bellinger has one. We got Kenley hates Dodgers fans. Ghost Cat. He definitely said he's happy there. Duvall will be excellent. By the way, this is Dodgers 2080, guys. Of course, that's the great Tim Rogers, the knower of all things Dodgers prospects. Go check out his Instagram. Go check out his Twitter, his YouTube page, Dodgers 2080. He does a fantastic job covering all Dodgers prospects. But by the way, Dodgers prospects, how about Miguel Vargas? I'm not even going to say anything. I don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to say anything. But, hey, I'm feeling really good about Miggy Vargas getting back on track down there in AAA, looking like the Miggy of old. I'm seeing line drives. I'm seeing hard contact, and I love what I'm seeing. Remember, if Miguel Vargas has no more fans, that means I'm no longer on this earth. That's all I'm going to say. But here, let's get a couple more, and I'll let you guys go. We got a Sunday game. Drink more, Jim Beam. Thanks, Diane Schroeder. D-Mac, what's the word on Kiké Hernandez coming to L.A.? Rewind a little bit. It's nothing imminent, but he has been linked to the Dodgers. But thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And for sure, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, tell your friends about the show. Pound for Pound says Vargas will get traded. Book it. Ouch. If it happens, I'll still support him on another team. But that's going to do it for today's show. And, guys, remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue. What up, Joe Magazzini? And I'm out.